to R&R Cinetalks. I am Clinton Robinson, and I will be your guide through this journey of everything independent film related. Sit back and listen to me as I interview various people involved in the film industry, do some movie reviews, and have some great generalized discussions. Thank you, and enjoy. There's some technical issues. You know how everything is with the internet and all. There's always something, especially in the entertainment industry. Nothing ever goes right. I mean, 2-hour shoot, 2-hour delay this weekend because dead batteries for a shoot that Nick and I were on. So, you know. But back into the hatred. I think we were at the very beginning because we didn't get far. So,
we're at Not the Farmer.
No. So we're at the beginning of this film, guys. That there's this issue that this film has where it tries to tell two stories in an hour and a half. And even with 2.5 hours, they wouldn't have enough time to complete both these stories. So, the beginning, we have the mother, the father, the daughter, or whatever. The father, we've already gotten into it. If you're just now joining us on the second stream, the father was a Nazi soldier that came to America, which doesn't track anyways. Small town, Farmville, America, which
with a close relationship to Hitler.
With a very close relationship to Hitler, to the point where Hitler would
they were buddies.
Welcome to R&R Cinetalks. I am Clinton Robinson, and I will be your guide through this journey of everything
in the 60s.
Film related. Sit back and listen to
While
me
wearing
as I
like 30
interview various people
yeah,
involved
their
in the
timelines
film industry, do some movie reviews, and have some great generalized discussions. And then his weird relationship with his daughter. This basically, you're confined to this house forever, permanently.
Yes.
That's creepy. You're just building up a lot of different plot lines that don't really work out.
Town is no place for a young girl.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the film goes, the guy that played the dad was actually the strongest actor.
He was up there for sure.
The
mom wasn't.
The mom was horrible. The sheriff was bad. The daughter was bad.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody in the past sequence was bad.
Yeah.
Which sucks because this is the whole, you're trying to build the plot of the film here. And let's just get to the point where the plot of the film is ancient artifact. Hitler mails over to father has power to turn people into homicidal raging maniacs. Am I getting that pretty close on the point? It also traps their spirits to make them haunt whatever house they're in, type of deal.
It seems like it does a lot of things, and we'll get to that.
It does.
Because that's a big problem.
It does a lot of things, and there's no real understanding of why or what or.
Which is why it needed to be 2 movies.
Yeah, it feels like it was like a first film and then a sequel film that could have explored the whys and whats of the medallion. Original film would build up what the hell.
Yeah. Or at least, frame it so the timelines don't get messed up, where we start in the present and then we get a little flashback. And then throughout the movie they uncover more and maybe get more information. All of a sudden you've got an intriguing story.
Yeah.
This just kind of vomits on you with an hour of, World War II.
It gives you an hour of post-World War II build-up. And it doesn't even build up what's going on. You find out everything about the guy in the present sequence. In the past sequence, you just get overbearing douchebag father that's a Nazi.
Good old child abuse, too, was a big note I had.
Good, yeah. And it wasn't like child abuse, it was just creepiness that then turned into drowning daughter in a horse trough.
It was almost like the artifact triggered the best in him.
Yeah. It was, I don't know, and you could tell that his costume, his get-up for the pesticides for the farm was to be the horror costume.
Yeah,
because
and it was rock solid.
It was,
I was
rock
ready to
solid
go.
Horror costume. I thought we were getting into just straight up murder stuff, and then we get this ancient artifact bullshit. When you bring a mystical into horror, you need to at least explain the rules of the mysticism.
Yeah.
The artifact had no rules. It did whatever was convenient for the film at the time. And I write horror. You've seen my horror writing. Like, I build the rules.
Yeah.
Not in exposition, because I feel like if this guy built the rules, it would just be an exposition. Which there was a lot. If we get into the present day stuff, present day actresses, bad acting. Bad acting.
One of them stood out more than the other three.
One of them
and we'll get into that.
One of them would be a bad actress in a good movie. And this one, she's a good actress for this movie. It's just like every horror trope in existence is in this film. And I get using a trope for the use of using a trope, because like it's good to give people a sense of familiarity. But when your entire film is built out of tropiness, you don't have a film, you just have bones. You don't have any meat or dialogue or story or any... I can't even tell you guys what the story of the movie is.
And this is where, sorry to cut you off.
It's fine, I was ranting.
we get into the true essence of this should have been 2 films, because they could have had some really awesome Easter eggs if, like, the first film was the origin story following the Nazi Trek, maybe give them a slightly bigger family than just the 3 of them, and then really establish that this artifact can mess with you in multiple ways. And then in the future story, you have all of these Easter eggs and little hints throughout the house that maybe cause flashbacks, stuff like that.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
because there's potential in the story.
There's potential, and that's what really irritates me, is there's potential. If it was broken into 2 2-hour-long stories, it would have
with adequate acting.
It would have been better. But instead, we have just this mash of mess, of half thoughts and wishes.
The garden murder scene, I thought, was like 10 minutes too long, and I had no idea what was going on until it happened, because there was no like identifier,
all the murder scenes, like whatever murders happened in there, you didn't know it was gonna be a horror moment. It was just, oh, whoop, dead. Like, I don't even remember them. And horror movies, when there's murders, because there's some great horror movies that don't have murders, like the film we made, The Scratching, there's no death in it. But I would say, and that might just be me tooting my own horn, it's a good horror film. And there's no identifiers with that. The ghost of the girl, like, there was like 7 different costumes for that ghost. It's supposed to be one ghost, but in my mind, I'm like, where the fuck are all these ghosts coming from?
Well, so in the past, there were no ghosts. It was just some crazy called spirit.
And then mom snaps, and that's it. It was like possession, and now all of a sudden, in the modern timeline, we have actual spirits popping up.
That's another area where it missed, because I feel like those possessions with a fuller house could have been awesome. I mean,
in the modern day, you have was it 4 friends and the little girl there?
Yeah.
Like, if there was the possessions, and you just went with possessions A, your budget's a hell of a lot cheaper. You don't have a makeup, and then I can't say her name, but the person that was involved in the film tells us that the amulet feeds off of fear, which at that point, that's just adding a whole other thing that I don't pick up on in the film.
It feeds off of hate.
I would get that more because of the hatred. But anyways, if it was like people getting possessed and all of that, it would work better than ghosts. And she's saying that's what creates the ghost is the fear portion and all that. But I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like there wasn't rules set. We were never told anything about this thing. And I'm sorry, but that one character in the film that just happened to conveniently know every fucking thing that's going on. Like,
everything.
Like, she speaks fucking German. She understands all of this lore. She knows all this shit. It's just like, I'm sorry, but even me, super nerd over here, wouldn't have been able to be like, oh, this is from
that's
here.
a Viking death mask.
Yeah, a Viking death mask. It's just like, okay, and Courtney's in the comments is right. It is literally a line in the movie. This person knows everything, and then they just like beat you in the face with the fact that the person knows everything by having somebody in this story tell you somebody knows everything. It's just like,
And then her opposite is also in the group with the chick that literally knows nothing and is so stupid. She's ignorant, stupid, and a bad actress. It's like,
you get your whammy. You get your triple
whammy.
I normally don't tear into movies, guys. I'm sorry. I normally don't. Like, normally I'll find the good in it, and the good in it is it could have been 2 great stories. Mm-hmm. It could have. And it's just like we have all these different... In me knowing some of the backstory of the thing, it's one ghost. But it's like 3 or 4 different ghosts, and it's because they had 3 or 4 different people play the ghost. Literally. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, that's bad. That's bad. I've watched this movie twice, so I have a lot of built-up angst about it. But, like, you have a whole notebook of notes. Like, what do you got going on, Nick?
Well, I mean, one thing I definitely noticed was when the big reveal of the ghosts happened, I laughed multiple times. And, like, I'm not the type that normally laughs at a horror movie, but it was genuinely funny a few times. Like,
there was accidental humor sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I think that's what makes it worse, is that there were points where you could laugh at it. And, like, I like the Easter egg, like, the girl fell asleep watching, like, George Romero's Night of the Living Dead or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, and... What? Sorry, I'm reading a comment. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, I'm sad it wasn't a good movie, too, Jason. I am. Like, there was a lot of good stuff that could have come from it, and, like, people involved in it that were involved in good movies. And it just was, like, a shit show. Like,
it's one of those films, if we could remake it with a budget, and...
They had a budget. They had, like, a $500,000 budget.
I'm talking a real budget. Like...
Like, I think we could make it better with $200,000 with the crew we have, but we don't need to get into that.
Yeah.
But I just, there's so much, like, I'm sorry, that end scene where the girl's running out of the house and then she steps on glass. Like, my ass, if I stepped on glass, I wouldn't stop and be like, oh, my foot, I'm gonna pick it out individually, and then I'll run out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fucking dipping out. I don't know why we're crawling out of the doggy door. I'm just gonna get out of there.
Hey, can we talk about a really important arc, though, that I don't think got enough information thrown out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why the fuck was the pizza guy such a creep?
I don't know. Like, I thought they were building up something for the pizza guy.
That led nowhere.
It just led nowhere. Is it like, you know, one of those red herrings and it's just like a plot thread that you're expected to pull but you don't? Like, if it was at that point, they should have had more into it other than creepy pizza guy is creepy.
And then one friend has conveniently exactly enough money to pay for the pizza.
Conveniently.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of conveniently in the film.
Mm.
And, like, they overdid the girl is creepy with the ghosts thing to me. Like, I feel like, because, you know, there's the little girl and she's constantly talking about ghosts and friends and all of them. All 3 of these college-age girls were just like, whatever, okay, I just feels like, it was just overplayed. Like that's all the little girl character was just creepy.
And she kept repeating. There was no growth.
Yeah, there's no growth.
I can't tell you, but I'm talking to these weird people.
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably Alice.
And it's probably coming off of my whole. I just got done watching Bly Manor and Hill House like 3 weeks ago, so like they did the creepy kid shit very well. Because there was growth and development, and then eventually they get frustrated and, like, throw it in your face and make you experience it. Whereas this is, like, she's creepy until the very end, and then she's useless dead weight.
Yep.
And that's all it was.
Also, another thing that really kind of made me pee out about this whole thing. I understand that there's some relation between Regina and the young girl, but how they end up together in the end, that pissed me off. I don't want to give too many spoilers away about everything, but parental guidance says no.
I don't understand their relationship, period.
Yeah.
Like, this is their
how the hell do they love each other already?
This is their college professor, and their college professor is just letting them live in the big-ass mansion they just moved into.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, over all these years, all these creepy-ass German hand-me-downs and mementos and stuff didn't get moved out of the house before they moved in. Like, I never got that one either in, like, horror movies in general, but in this specifically. Like, you buy the house and you don't move the creepy shit out before you move in.
Right?
Like, most
wouldn't have impacted...
Most realtors move shit out before you buy the house, you know what I mean? Like, I get their instances and stuff, but it's just, like, very convenient. And it's just... I'm saying it's convenient because they discovered all of this backstory for the evil German ghost through the house.
Perhaps Walter's just really part of a secret occult SS convent, you know, resurfacing in the 2000s.
That would be convenient. That'd be convenient for their plot line.
So on top of being, you know, a ethno-archaeologist or whatever his job was.
His job is something convenient for them to be students of something that happens in that house. Like I said, a lot of convenient plot lines. There's quality to it. Like, there's good cinematography, there's good, like, writing, there's good post, there's good everything besides the story. The story makes no sense to me.
It jumps. And that was one of my biggest notes, is there's an instant jump forward in time. No explanation of how. Like, we don't even really know what happens with the mom.
She just got possessed, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was it, like...
I mean, did she replant those flowers? Like, I'm curious about that.
We know she killed the dad. That's it.
She got out. Lame forward kill.
Lame.
Way too much build up for that.
To just, like, you gassed yourself.
Yeah. All the deaths, those deaths all happened way too fast, too.
Yeah.
Like...
I get, like, realistically, those deaths would happen quickly. But in horror film, like, one of the things is the drawn-out kills, because that's what's horrifying about it, is being drawn out. And especially in, like, a low-budget film like that, that's, like, what you have to lean on to. Like, at least if it had good deaths, I could get behind it a little more than I am. I can't get behind this film. And all the films I've reviewed in the past, I can get behind.
The Jew in me does not enjoy this film. Let's just put it that way. The overt Nazi symbolism throughout it all, like,
really shitty.
Love having Nazis living in, like, small town Kansas or wherever they are.
Which wouldn't happen. He wouldn't have been there.
And the sheriff, that's another thing. Sorry, I keep going off on these. The sheriff acknowledges his dicey past in the 60s, you know, 20 years after World War II, and he doesn't say, like, anything, like, about it, other than, oh, I know that you've got a dicey past, but I believe in second chances, blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, he's a Nazi. The Nuremberg trials made this very clear. You can't do that anymore. He's a Nazi. And not just a sympathizer, like a full-blown Nazi.
Like, friends with Hitler Nazi.
Yeah,
which
take
blows
pictures
my
casually.
Mind. That they tried doing that so much. Like, the guy is friends with Hitler, right? He would have been executed for war crimes if he was that close to Hitler.
Or in Argentina.
That one too. He would not be in small town bumfuck Kansas working on a farm, like, no.
Abusing his daughter, like
I mean, he'd probably be abusing his daughter wherever he is. But
but not on a farm.
Not on a farm in Kansas, in a compound in Argentina.
If anything, make him like a nuclear physicist or some kind of, like, weird biologist or like
important
messed
enough
up doctor.
important enough that he got a pass.
And that would be a statement on some truth then too.
Yeah, it would be,
which makes it more terrifying.
It would be a statement. It would be a statement. Yeah. Like, we let these people that committed war crimes get away with it because of their science work. Yeah. And then you could have linked the horror parts to it to whatever science he was, instead of like this whole Hitler was obsessed with the cult thing that people like to do. Like,
now, while we are on the topic of Hitler, I did come up with a new sitcom based on this show.
Okay.
If you want to hear out the title, for a little humor in this whole conversation. I figured it'd be a fun show. This House and Hitler.
So I imagine this is your whole take on it being a larger family in a farm in Kansas.
Yeah. And, each one of them has their turn being possessed by the occult spirit that ultimately fueled World War II, apparently.
Oh, so that's the spirit that took over Hitler. Okay.
Yeah. I figured, it gave him the steam and the charisma to go out there and crush all of those rallies.
We'll come back to that off camera. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that this thing had. Like, it had like dozens of story threads it could have pulled on, and instead it pulled on none of them and was just like evil ghost Hitler relic Nazi farmer Kansas 60s.
Don't have phone sex.
That too.
Phone sex leads to bad things, apparently.
Apparently, this person's against, long distance relationships. At that point, I don't know. And there are so many red flags in they made the characters experience. You know what I mean? So many red flags. And, a plot thread, I'm still, sitting there, why did this college professor let his students stay in his house?
Mm-hmm.
He
definitely knew that place was haunted.
For sure.
Their daughter was getting, talked to at night.
They knew to the point where they died right before they left. And who the fuck doesn't, check out the garage?
Right.
For 12 hours?
They didn't take the trash out once. They've had, 50 bottles of wine.
Once they didn't take out the trash. And didn't they have their car in the garage?
A lot of loopholes.
So that means they parked next to the other car, didn't think about it. There's so many loopholes.
Yeah.
So many things,
And then, this is a slight spoiler, but
we spoiled.
Reagan, the main character, steals an artifact from the corpse that is attached to the house and says to the little girl, now it's not going to bother you anymore. But anybody who knows anything about ghosts and possessions knows if you steal an artifact from the corpse, you're fucked.
Hardcore fucked. Hardcore fucked.
It's coming with you. It's not staying at the house. They did nothing to exorcise those spirits. They all died.
That house is done. That house is fucked.
Yeah.
They're fucked because they have a piece of the ghost stuff. And, a big thing for me, too, is that we have this girl's ghost the entire film. That's the only ghost we're exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Out of nowhere, the dad's ghost is there. And, you're supposed to think that the girl ghost is wanting you to find her body and, was preventing the dad ghost from doing shit. And it's just, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Because
and
she
the
was,
dad's ghost
blatantly
was
attacking people.
The dad's ghost didn't really make any sense either because, I understand, it was covered in gas, right? That's how he died. But there wasn't enough recognizable features on him to be like, oh, that's the dad.
It's just gas, dude.
Yeah.
You get Ghastly in your film now. But,
yeah.
The guy that came to help with the girl, he just got, so much disrespect. He got disrespected hardcore. He just entered the house and dead. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. That's the whole point of that
honesty,
character, was he entered house, died.
Men don't listen, and he was not listening right there. She told him to leave. We need to go now.
But she didn't.
And I'm having a hard time keeping a straight face saying all this.
I get you. Like I said, the tropes. Man doesn't listen to panicking woman. That's
hot blonde chick with huge rack happens to know German and everything about Viking and occult culture.
Why? Like so much.
I mean, kind of rad. Don't get me wrong. Like,
yeah,
I would love to meet that person.
I'd love to meet this non-existent human being. Mostly because like that's like 20 years of college work to learn all of these things that she learned in like her 3 years in college.
Yeah, like full-blown PhD expert,
like
in multiple fields, apparently.
Multiple fields, like. Totally.
And then, of course, the one that's like going pretty damn near full retard is also proficient in French. Okay, so remember that one.
I remember that one now. It's just like they all happen to know exactly what they need to know for whatever's going on in the film at that time. Like, I'm surprised like some Latin didn't pop up at some point. Did it pop up? I'm not sure. There's always Latin.
No Latin, just German, French, and really bad English.
Really bad English. It was just bad. Like, it was just like, we're gonna start day drinking wine right now. Oh, the little kid ordered delivery pizza. I'm not against day drinking wine.
Yeah. Let's put a pause in that one.
But it's just like all these build-ups to they're gonna fuck up and die. Like you already know that.
Yeah.
And I'm stuck on we don't know why they went there in the first place. They're just there so the film can happen there.
Well, so they're there because Reagan is starting a new job in that town. But at the same time, they're staying at the house to watch the daughter of her professor, who's also somehow related to her grandmother, who there's a story arc that just goes kaput. I mean, she's dying. They save her. There's a hot doctor. Is he going to be involved? No.
So we
just kind of jumps all around.
It's just all fully exposition too. It's nothing like I remember the scenes with the grandma vaguely. Like it's just all
she
stuff.
appears to her in like a psychic dream almost.
Yeah, like post-mortem psychic vision.
Yeah.
There's so much to this film. Like it doesn't
films.
To these films, there should be 2 of them. That would be good films.
Yeah. Give me Nazi doctor moves to America and isn't known as a Nazi, but gets discovered to be one, and happens to also have some occult artifact that possesses his whole family and does some fucked up shit to the town as your first movie, and then give me the 4 super hot, brilliant chicks, except for one of them, who go to babysit some girl in this haunted house in our time, and all of a sudden this stuff starts coming up, and, we have real time to develop all the characters.
There you go. Nick,
boom.
I think
I don't even have a fucking film degree. Let's go.
Neither of us do, and we're doing better than this. You know what? Fuck it. 2022, we're making the first one. They don't even have to know it's based off. They don't even have to know it's based off the hatred, because it's gonna be so far off that it's gonna be like we are expunging this garbage from the earth and building what should have been built.
Can we call it This House in Hitler?
This House in Hitler.
If not, Nazi farmer doctor is fine.
Nazi doctor.
We're gonna check boxes.
Check boxes. Nazi check. Doctor check.
Get it on network.
Check.
NBC picks it up. It's kind of like This Is Us, but a little bit more gruesome and a lot more gassy.
A lot more Nazi.
A lot more Nazi. Well, I don't know.
But I could go off for hours on this film. I've done it before. Mostly
Seriously.
over text. Like, the whole time I was watching this movie, I was texting our mutual friend who was on set for this film, just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And, like, it was actually infuriating me as a writer and director how little sense it made. Like, what got me, like, and I'll go back to this, because I mentioned it briefly, but, like, we can go more into this, like, why did the ghost girl look different every fucking time we saw her?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would think that they would have kept her, the stereotypical drowned ghost look of, like, blue and dark blue veins and stuff like that, but at some point, she was like some scaly lizard lady.
Yeah, there was that, and then also she didn't die in her room.
She
Why is
died
her
in the
room?
barn.
Why is her room the only spot on the property that's like, you went in my room, now you die? Like, they all were on the farm and the property.
They were all outside.
Wouldn't the whole
The whole farm.
Which
and
is another.
That'd be another great horror part. We always get haunted house, but what if the inside is your safe point? Because all the fucking ghosts are outside in the barn, in the field, like that.
And the door is fucked up and keeps like smacking against because it's so windy. Like you have a chance here to make it where the possessed thing or the ghost or the spirit or whoever is going after you comes in through that door. Because she doesn't close the second door either. She opens a door to close the screen door, which is slamming, and then leaves the other door open. Big mistake. Opportunity, right?
Like, you have so many opportunities that they built to subvert how ghost films usually are.
Yeah. They just threw out complete plot lines. Like, if the girl was drowned inside the barn, and the other girl got possessed while, maybe being attacked in there, she brought it into the house, all of a sudden you have an attachment story, but that doesn't happen.
It's like they took the first little inch of the string of thought and put it in the film, and were like, grow, little buddy, and they didn't put any effort into it.
They didn't water it.
They didn't water that plant. They didn't water that seed of an idea.
They just filled it with gas.
They just filled it with seeds. Because that's all this film is like just seeds of ideas and seeds of ideas. Like, 90% of the time in ghost, 99.999 repeating percent of the time in ghost stories, the ghost's main event is at their place of death, or in case of possession, at the place of object of possession. But instead, it's like, conveniently, the dad's only in the basement. No, actually, fucking the dad's everywhere. He goes where the fuck he wants.
The girl's in the basement, but then also in her bedroom.
But not in the barn where she died. Is
also perfectly decorated the exact same way that it was in 1968.
Yeah,
because no one decided to move out that room.
Like, the whole house got moved out except for the basement. Yeah, we don't need to go down there. It creeps me out. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever throwaway line that they would have given those people anyways. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, this movie's so not cool that, and not in like, the movie sucks. It's like, there's no follow-throughs on any of the ideas.
To quote a very wise character, Kunu, you're doing too much.
Yeah. They're doing too much. There's
way too much.
Like we've said multiple times in this, 2 movies. You had the ideas for 2 movies and made 1 short movie. Because these are ideas that you could make a good 2-hour film.
Yeah.
That keeps you interested the entire time.
And if you need some filler, do a 30-minute, college act where, they're all meeting at school or graduating, show that they're educated and smart, and then establish that she's getting a job out there instead of the big city, which they tried to do on the brunch scene, which was a catastrophe, by the way. I mean...
the whole movie was a catastrophe.
Yeah, but if I had to solo out, like, one scene that was like, whoa.
You mean just
how
complete inorganic exposition from every single character? Basically, this is like, and I'm going to go hardcore nerd here, this was like a D&D session, where all of you sit around at a table and say, this is my character. I have all of these skills, and this is my backstory and my name. And that's basically what that was just all these people sitting there being like, here's my motivation for being here, here's who I am, here's what I do, here's what I like.
And for those who don't understand D&D, it was a lot like an Entourage scene, but with really shitty acting.
That one too.
And worse dialogue somehow.
Somehow. Like, it's just... that's all that scene was.
Oh, I'm an alcoholic. There's no vodka here. May as well drink coffee. Says the dumb bitchy chick.
That's an actual line from the
Cocktails. Movie. I bet they don't even have mimosas.
Oh my god.
Woo!
It was so bad. Like, I get it. Writers of the Hatred. Dialogue's hard to write. It's tough. But
no,
you just have to think. You just have to think, if somebody said this to me, would I feel awkward?
Yeah.
Yes, to that entire
dialogue
scene.
in dramatic scenes, in comedic scenes, that's tough. Dialogue in intro scenes where you're at fucking brunch, just read it out loud. And tell me if that's ever something that you've said in conversation. And if it's not, don't use it.
So, for everybody watching this, the little bit of backstory, I've gotten into it a little bit. The original film was amazing. And it was a short film. It got shown at some festivals in California. And then the producer, either the producer or director of the Halloween remakes, got a hold of it. And he's the one that ruined it. I'm not talking Rob Zombie. I'm not talking Rob Zombie. Even though I can say Rob Zombie's Halloweens are bad. But I'm talking somebody that worked for him. I enjoyed them, but there's a lot of Halloweens that are bad. They're not the top, but they're not the worst. Whichever one made Halloween like all about druids and shit, that's the one that made it worse. The Thorn. But he took it and he was like, this doesn't make sense, it needs Nazis. Basically, is what it was.
He got really high, he played Nazi zombies, and he was like, oh man, what if
they're ghosts?
And ghosts.
In Kansas. And that's what that was.
Ooh.
Somebody, it's because I have to title it, Derek, that it's Call of Duty. I have to title it a video game. This is not Call of Duty 2.
Well, I mean, it's not too far off, because we did just talk about Nazi zombies.
Well, that would have been Call of Duty Call of Duty World
Black
at
Ops.
War.
And World at War.
World at War was the original Nazi zombies.
That was the first one.
Yeah. Which, that would probably be a better movie than this.
That would have been a fantastic movie. Just a survival movie.
About Nazi zombies.
Yeah, low budget. I mean, ammo's expensive, but, like, blanks aren't too bad. You know, just go to town and next thing you know, yeah,
that's
you
it,
got
2023.
A great
Nazi
thriller.
Zombies. But seriously, like, I'll get into dialogue because we haven't touched dialogue. The dialogue in this movie. Have you very badly dubbed Japanese video game? That's what this dialogue felt like. Like, all your base are belong to us. Except
like
it's
Google
not as
translated
iconic.
from another language.
It's
That's okay. It was my plan the whole time.
Yeah. Like,
To label the fucking doors? Okay.
Right? It's just... The dialogue was bad. And I'm a stickler for organic dialogue, and that's usually why I go back and re-edit and re-edit and re-edit. And then we get on set, and Nick, you know this, and then I'm like, you don't have to do it perfect, just get the gist of it, say whatever feels natural. And I feel like whoever this director was like, stick to the script! The script is perfect!
I wrote this shit!
Yeah, the cocaine.
Oh, I just had a sniff. I don't know.
But yeah, like, I wrote it, it's perfect, you can't mess it up,
Yeah.
It'll ruin the whole film, and that's what that felt like. And it also doesn't help...
Daddy, you're suffocating me!
Oh my god.
I want to see my friends.
Like,
Weren't you young once?
Like, I hate it. Town's no place for a girl. What? What the fuck? What's this
You
mean?
do not leave this property.
You are confined to this house. Like, these are all actual lines, guys. We're not ad-libbing.
The accents
Sorry.
aren't quite as bad as his, though.
No. Like, my German
He was like,
accent is
If
usually...
Abraham Lincoln
did a German
was
accent.
a Nazi.
Yeah. That's about what he got. And he was the best actor in the
Go
film.
to. Yeah.
By far. The mother was horrible. We already mentioned that.
I don't know. Pizza Guy really brought it.
I think they just had a pizza guy on set.
Yeah.
Like, hey, You want to be in a movie? Come on.
We need a guy to deliver a pizza to a bunch of young girls.
Can you look like a creep?
Done.
Done.
I'll only do it if I can grease my hair.
Yeah, Pizza Guy was a bad choice of character. I really feel like that scene was completely unimportant to the entire film and made no sense whatsoever. Like there's a few scenes that are completely unimportant in that film that it feels like they really just needed to hit that 90-page mark, and they were just like, we need 25 more minutes to make it a
15 pages so that Nazi farmer can die by his own gas.
Let's we'll add in the brunch scene. The brunch scene can go fuck itself. The Pizza Guy scene can go fuck itself. Look, guys, we're at a 50-minute short film. like what the?
If I had to cut one short scene, though, it's definitely the giant boxed up artifact that we don't know what it is, and then the wig being under it, and she's calling for like a minute to see if the little girl's there, and she's just behind it.
Yeah.
It's like, why wouldn't she say anything?
It was bad. I feel like that whole basement exploration thing was just exposition so we get background. Like, that whole scene was... There's no reason for them to be down there. A. B.
Why they both survive being down there, too.
Yeah. Like, if you're gonna make the basement creepy, have somebody fucking die in the basement. Instead, they both just go hide, and it's the fucking person that hides in the closet by themselves that dies.
Yeah. And it's not from hiding in the closet either. It's from having fucking phone sex.
Yeah.
And then autoerotic asphyxiation. It definitely wasn't the worst death in the movie. I was okay watching. Even though we don't see much.
Like, none of the people fucking died when they should have in a horror movie. And, like, some of them, I can't even remember some of them fucking dying. Like, I don't remember the hot genius chick dying.
Yeah, that one just kind of happens. All of a sudden we see her arm being drugged.
The most important character in the fucking film, the person who solved all of it, who knew everything, dies off camera.
Yeah.
If you have 3 deaths in the film, probably don't have one of them die off camera.
Her first little run-in with the ghost, there's blood all over her arm, and then that just
she's strung off.
Disappears.
Nothing.
Like, oh, I'm just wet now. That red shit that was all over my arm, don't worry about that.
Yeah, continuity. We know somebody that worked on that film, and she's all about continuity.
I'm sure she loved that scene.
I'm sure she did. And another scene that I saw coming the entire time, and I was just like, how are they going to make this creepy, was the under the bed scene.
I actually liked that scene.
I didn't.
I didn't like the reveal of the ghost, but I thought the only line that girl nailed in the entire movie was that line. That's not me.
I agree. That's the only line she nailed, and kudos to her. But I just feel like that reveal, like the whole thing, like, was just a mess in my mind. Like, it didn't have... there was no sense in it at all.
And to revert back to earlier, that was actually the first scene where I literally laughed out loud.
And that's when she was the scaly lizard fucking monster thing. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
well, that was the rapey bedroom scene with her African American friend. I don't remember her name. But kind of, yeah, like after the phone sex, like the lizard dude, like, or chick or whatever it is, comes up from underneath the bed and like goes up under the covers, and then you just see like a scaly hand go over her mouth and like
Yeah.
red eyes.
I feel like somebody was like really into Freddy Krueger that made that scene, because that was
And
like,
lizard people.
yeah, there's a lot of lizard people liking in this film, and it's just like this person's terrified of lizard people.
It could be a big message back to the occult Nazism where, they were in contact with reptilian aliens. But, that's if we're really going off the deep end.
Might as well. Might as well. Might as well. This film's really going into pretty much everything.
Honestly, when we do make the Nazis, the first film,
the
whatever we call it,
House of Hitler or whatever.
Oh, this house in Hitler.
This house in Hitler. Yeah.
This house in Hitler.
We have to do both. We have to do the sitcom version, and then we'll do like the actual.
Oh my god, version. The sitcom version of this would be hilarious. Like, the scaly monster isn't getting along with like the 3 renditions of Ghost Alice.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
This already sounds better than The Hatred.
It does, and we'll film it in black and white. We'll have a dance number. We'll have the whole 9 yards. Like, the theme song is going to be on point. I know some people will get it on there. And just for the sake of it, we'll have a black man that's also Jewish be in the film. That way we just hit 2 nails.
The 7th tribe, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah,
represent my people.
But it's just... there's so much to this film, like the fucking bookshelf, like all of it, like the whole, like...
Not to say the least, but there's some interesting artifacts. Okay, you literally just said the fucking least. Thank you very much. What is this huge box of Nazi artifacts and documents that you just dropped on the kitchen table?
Like, first off, why?
Yeah.
Second off, the fuck? Like, and that's one of those tropes. It's that stupid college-age people find occult shit and fuck with it. Like, wasn't this touched on in Cabin in the Woods? Didn't we already touch on this?
Have you ever watched Paranormal Activity? Or Paranormal Caught on Camera?
Or The
Ghost
Evil
Adventures?
Dead? Or
anything on the Travel Channel?
Any horror film that deals with the occult? Are you people just uncultured?
Didn't your mom tell you as a kid, don't fuck with Ouija boards or I'll hit you?
Mine didn't. Mine told me to fuck with Ouija boards or I'll hit you. But, we'll get back to that.
Oh.
Like, they didn't fuck with it. Like, you don't read the foreign language. Normally I'll say you don't read the Latin, but you find occult shit written in German, don't read that. It's probably just translated from Latin. Like, any of that. Creepy girl that's alone tells you there's ghosts and they talk to me. Maybe
I'm not gonna lie.
That's a trigger.
If I came across a package that had some German written on it that's clearly in like a font that Nazis would use, I'd totally be trying to figure out what it says.
In the haunted house, or would you take it to a linguist?
I'd probably Google it like they do. Well, sorry. They Google the French saying on the artifact, which is another stupid avenue because the French aren't known for their occult magic. But
at all.
We can get into that another time.
That was just a cop-out.
To quote the Hunchback of Notre Dame, they definitely don't like gypsies. And gypsies do magic, and the French are scared of that shit because they're scared of everything.
So I guess they probably just, did that. One of those little seeds that never got watered.
Yeah.
And another thing, the artifact, the fucking wall. It just kept, fucking up the wall.
Yeah.
I hate
And then
it stopped. And then it went back.
And then at the end, when it goes, right? I understand it retreating, but as it gets more powerful, it's a Nazi thing. It's not some
It's a
tree.
swastika.
Why isn't it a perfect fucking cross like it looks like it's about to be?
Yeah.
It just changes shape at the end.
Yeah, it goes from looking like a cross to just swastika. And it's just oh yeah, I didn't know that it was a Nazi occult item. Thank you for telling me at the very end. Just make it what everybody does in horror movies and make it look like branches or veins. Don't make it look like a swastika. Yes. I get it, you have a Nazi fetish. I get it. I get it at this point. At the end of this film, I get it. You have a Nazi lizard person fetish.
Not gonna lie, I'm very happy to see a Springtime for Hitler quote in our comment section right now.
I know. I know. We were talking about that Saturday too. Heil myself. Heil to me.
I'm the crap that's here to change your history.
I love it. But, like...
Springtime for Hitler would be a better movie than The Hatred.
I agree.
If it was made as a serious film.
I agree. And, 2024. We'll get there.
Not saying it should be made. I'm just saying it'd be better than this, which should not have been made.
Bro, if this can justify being funded for $500,000, I think we could get Springtime for Hitler funded for $600,000.
At the very least, we could get Jews in space.
At the very least.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure This House in Hitler could get funded.
I've already got Netflix on the line, actually. They're interested.
Fuck yeah! Let's do it! Our pitch. So, The Hatred...
They actually said, finally.
They were like, we have been waiting for this kind of content. I'd say we could go to Quibi, but they don't exist anymore. R.I.P.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. to the baby streamer.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Hulu said, 9!
But...
We have the money now.
But
we stream the shows.
It's Hulu, Disney, Netflix, HBO. And HBO's just an add-on for Hulu at this point.
In one of those companies, I hope to never work for again.
We won't say which one due to legal concerns and stuff. But they are known for a mouse.
And they don't always like my people.
But, do you got any other points about The Hatred? I'm sure you do. Most of this is just...
It was a wholesome family film.
Don't lie. We don't lie here. I mean...
It's one of my final remarks on it. It's one of those films where you can see the potential, you can see why it was made. You just really wish that someone took a second and was like, how can we make this better? And recognize that the arcs that are being developed distract from the ultimate story.
Yeah.
And cinematically, it's a fine movie. I mean, yeah, some of the CGI is a little weak on the ghosts, but whatever, low budget. Yeah, I get it. But ultimately, if it were to be remade professionally, I think you could have some real teeth.
It could be two great films.
Yeah.
Like we've said. Like we talked about, the cinematography on point. Like their little Easter egg with George Romero's Night of the Living Dead on point. And it's public domain, so they're allowed to do it too. But
yeah,
like those threads, they just didn't pull on the right threads. They pulled on all the threads that distracted from the actual film.
Yeah, they needed to pick an avenue. If they wanted, as one film, if they were to break up the footage and then maybe reduce some of the Nazi farmer scenes and make it more of like the girls are discovering that this happened, I think could have really fixed the film.
It could have.
Without reshooting.
But they split it in half.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, as a viewer, you can't pick which half is important because both of them are being displayed to you as important. Now, if they never had that flashback, like if they never had that first half where it was the Nazi farmers, if they just had it, let's make it a 2-hour film. They just had it about the college girls in this house. They could have had flashbacks to important key sequences of the past that had to do with these relics, and you already have a film that instead of a 3.2 out of 10 on IMDb would probably come out as a 6.5, which is a win. By the way, that's the star rating on IMDb, viewers, 3.2 out of 10. That's my last check.
Surprisingly, though, 3 out of 6 on Amazon.
The Amazon viewers are slightly more uncultured than IMDb.
Well, they do watch The Boys, so that makes sense.
Hey. Hey.
I actually haven't seen it yet.
Hey. But it has room. It has developmental space. Was it allowed to grow? Did the mama bird let it stretch its wings and flies? No, the mom bird cannibalized it.
Mm-hmm. You know what it screams of, too, is whoever bought the rights to it ultimately didn't bring in another producer to come in and
check.
Have the weight, be like, hey, look, we have something here, but we need to grind this out. It's not a finished product yet.
And that's something a lot of filmmakers don't do. They don't bring somebody in as a third party, non-connected to the project to look at it.
Yeah.
And that's how you end up getting those projects that are like that.
It makes sense, though, because we all think that our shit doesn't stink, so.
I don't. All my shit's trash. But.
Everything I've ever been in is the greatest thing ever made. And everybody knows that. Does everyone in this industry.
That's everybody in this industry besides myself. I'm the exact opposite. It's garbage.
And a certain person who worked on The Hatred.
She cannot say that everything she's been in is the best because I think she's the biggest hater on this entire film. Besides myself, I had to pay to watch this, and I'm $4 out forever.
Yeah.
So viewers, this will be the first time I say this. Don't watch this movie.
Unless you want to laugh.
Unless you want to get all of our jokes and be like, holy crap, I get why they shat on this movie for an hour.
Or, holy crap, those guys nailed every one of those lines.
Yeah.
Because we did.
Yeah, we did. I didn't even have to try. I was just like, what feels horrible and feels like it scarred my soul. And
it was my plan the whole time.
Yeah. Like, girls do not belong in town. It's just like, oh, no. Yeah, something like that. It's just like, okay, man. Okay. A town is no place for girls.
Town is no place for young girls.
It's just like, okay. Okay.
Now, one thing that I did write down, when he first receives that package and discovers the artifact, the first thing that jumped to my mind was, God, I miss Adolf.
I think that's what he thought.
It was literally like a 5-minute scene of him just like reminiscing the good old days that his daughter wouldn't understand, which is another line in there.
You wouldn't understand what I did. It's just like...
I killed Jews because they were out to get us.
Sorry, I had a MAGA reference there. We don't have to go. We don't have to go there. We don't have to get political. But yeah, like that whole line he said to her, "You wouldn't understand what I did." It's just like, bruh, you killed Nazis. I mean, you killed Jews. You did the opposite. You were a Nazi killing Jews. There's no point in history where somebody will look at you and be like, you were in the right.
Yeah. I lost everything I ever had. Yeah, because the first time around, you tried killing a whole bunch of other people. You don't gain shit when you lose wars. I'm sorry, that's just not how the world works.
Especially...
Doesn't mean you go gas a bunch of Jews.
Yeah. Like, he rescued our country and shit. It's like, bruh, all he did was let you guys blame it on somebody else and then kill them for it.
Steal the resources of Poland and France, and then inflate your currency to a point that it explodes. And that's the guy that our first main character loves.
Idolizes. Literally, he opens the package and it looks like, the woman he first loved sent him a letter. It's literally that. It's like, oh, Hitler, oh, Adolf.
I did see him lick his lips and then stroke his goatee when he saw that picture.
I'm pretty sure there was a gay romance subplot. Another thread that never got pulled.
Mm-hmm. Would have loved to go into that one.
Yeah.
Hitler the dancer.
It's just, I don't know, man. I can't get behind a film that makes like the first major character you see for 30 minutes like
irrelevant.
Irrelevant. A completely irrelevant, doesn't pop up until like 2 ghost sequences, and B has like a super hard on and doesn't realize what he did in World War II was atrocious and a war crime.
And what the fuck happened to the mom?
Exactly.
She murders her husband. Her daughter's missing.
She poisons her husband mid-crop.
Yeah.
Daughter's missing and dead. And then...
Why is she not suspect number 1? Why is the sheriff not back? This is all shit why it needs to be 2 films.
The dad dies, and the movie cuts to 2020. Or 2017. Sorry, it just said present day.
Mm-hmm.
So, mom kills dad, cut to 2017, you're left being like, the fuck happened? Like, honestly, it should be a whole movie because I want to know, where the fuck's the mom? What happened? Why isn't she a ghost in the house? Like, shit like that. Like,
yeah.
The husband's body's never found, the daughter's body's never found, so that means the sheriff literally was just like, fuck the Germans.
Yeah. Well, I mean... I can't blame him for that.
I can't blame
if that's
him.
If that's his reason,
that's his reasoning, I'm behind it.
I'm down.
But like, the house is cleared out besides the basement. We got into that plot hole too. So like, where'd Mommy Nazi go? And I'm not gonna call her Mommy Nazi because she's from Kansas. You know.
I'm gonna call her Mommy Nazi.
It works. I mean,
she knows what her husband did.
Like she literally married a war criminal, but like it's, you know, most wholesome Kansas women will marry a Nazi given the chance. It's very, very common knowledge that they're very loving of Nazis in Kansas. They're not.
I just remembered something. There's a line in this film that is just so blatantly false. I think it deserves to be brought up.
Let's shout it out.
It's when bitchy dumb chick Leanne, excuse me, goes, grades don't matter, I still get the same diploma you do. First of all, they're in college, you get a degree. Second of all, your grades totally fucking matter if you want to work in any industry other than entertainment.
Well, yeah, entertainment, you could have a G, you could just not have anything and get work. I mean,
you have a face like this.
A face like Marcus's, like fucking model guy. You're like, why you gotta bring him up?
You say that, but he's literally the most educated out of any of us.
That's true too.
Like by a long
shot. I'm a college dropout. I stopped after 6 months because I was like, I don't need this shit. But you know, we can get into this. Like, the line's ridiculous, and you can tell that the person that made the movie doesn't believe in schooling or grades.
And just hates that actress because she's never going to work again.
Well, cough. The person we're talking about already told me what happened. All of them except for one person got work afterwards. I can't remember who. I think it was the little girl.
That doesn't surprise me.
The little girl got work until she fell hard into drugs. We'll see. The person's watching and she'll let us know. But you can just tell the person hates education because of that line. Because grades do matter. They look at your GPA. They'll look if you graduated like magna cum laude or summa cum laude, like stuff like that. So, like, it's...
Yeah. Also, the same chick makes fun of the super smart hot blonde for, like, knowing Viking cultural artifacts, as opposed to being like, how the hell do you know that? She's like, why do you know that?
Yeah, you know, he fell into tropes writing dumb bitchy chick.
Alcoholic.
He combined, like, 3 tropes into one for the blonde chick, which, you know, we didn't... Because normally, the super nerd is the nerdy virgin dude. Normally, that's how it works. But, you know, he didn't have any men on set, so...
I'm thrilled with the opportunity to see a busty, hot, smart chick figure all the shit out. I wish that there was more of that in the film. Because I thought that was one of the strong points, actually. It kind of breaks that tradition of, hey,
dumb blonde.
bimbo blonde whose cleavage is hanging out the whole time.
Dies.
Happens to know everything. Like, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great way to break, like, the wall. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To break stereotype. But she died off camera. Like, they didn't even give her, like...
She died off camera, and every time she's demonstrating being smart,
she gets berated.
Dumb bitchy chick Leanne decides, oh, I'm going to bust into this scene and completely ruin everything you just said that's dramatic with some really shitty, semi-comedic bitchiness.
Yeah, all those lines were like the comedic relief for the film, and all of it turned out being was like badly delivered shit.
Yeah, and it's not a comedy. Like,
well,
why is she
every horror has that comedic relief to relieve stress, and people keep watching the film.
That's the pizza guy.
Pizza guy was just weird.
Yeah,
Probably
he was creepy, but like that's the relief scene. You don't need a character that's just scene. Like.
You don't need a joke every scene. Like, and if you
do, there's no vodka here. I'm gonna drink coffee. Like,
A, doesn't line up. B, what the hell?
Yeah.
Unnecessary dialogue. Move the plot along, please. But other than that, I don't have much more. Like, I can berate the fact that they like glorified Nazis for a whole 30 minutes of the film all day. I could do this for days because that's what it was. It was like glorifying Nazism almost. Which
Definitely a lot of that.
Very concerning.
The sheriff not being like,
you're a Nazi.
You're a fucking Nazi. I have a problem with you, and just being like, I know you got a checkered past, and I think everybody deserves a second chance, and I don't judge people here. I just lay down the law.
I'm no sheriff.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm no sheriff. But if a girl went missing and her father's a known Nazi, I think suspect number one who would be getting in my fucking car and coming back to the depot or the sheriff's office or whatever would be the father that was a Nazi.
Also,
they're known for making people disappear.
He just tried to cover up a fight they had that morning, and he's being super weird towards the sheriff. Why is he not like, you're suspect number one, let's go, I'm talking to you right now?
Like, legit. He, like you said, covered up a fight. His wife brought up the fight because the wife is not a criminal.
Yeah.
That we know of. I mean, she does end up
she
gets away with murder.
But it's not her fault.
That's not her fault.
The Nazis made her do it.
Literally. The daughter's gone missing. I'm pretty sure it's known throughout the entire town at this point that the daughter is not allowed to leave the house. And then we get Nazi dad being standoffish with the cop, and he's a known fucking Nazi.
His name is Nazi farmer dad Samuel.
Samuel.
Sears. Samuel Sears. Which
SS.
Does the writer have a problem with Sears? I know, like, they haven't been like the greatest company lately, but like.
Well, no, I think that the writer is again alluding to Nazis because SS. Samuel Sears.
There's a thousand different.
He's probably just not creative. Like, we can tell this writer's not creative because it doesn't have any critical thinking skills. Because Nazi dad Samuel, which
Nazi farmer dad Samuel,
didn't get taken.
The third
didn't get taken to prison right away. Like we immediate plot hole. First 30 minutes. I mean, there's probably plot holes earlier on than that point that we.
Daughter's body's in the fucking house. No one says shit.
Did he even move it from the barn?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He moves it into the basement.
Bricked up.
But yeah,
which the wife,
we don't see that. We discover that later.
Which
we don't know where.
By the way, how the fuck did he hide that from the wife? Because I've been married. You can't move around your house without your wife knowing you're doing something. So how did he drag his daughter's body?
He feels very, very sneaky.
How is he sneaky? The whole town knows he's a Nazi.
He kind of looks like the Rick and Morty character.
Abralof Linkler.
Yeah.
A little bit.
To bring up another thing that I thought could have been done better, and a horribly delivered line, the part where the tutor is like, "We're due for a storm later," I thought was terrible. And then they kept building up to this storm, and then all it is a fucking door shuttering. There's no storm after that. Like, if you're building up a storm like that in a horror film, give me a B-roll of like the biggest freaking lightning you can find, and like really set this thing as like, if you go outside, it's dangerous. Because when the little girl outside, it's dry. There's no storm.
There's no rain.
There's no storm.
And by the way, it's easy to make fucking rain on a set. You get a hose, you spray it through a colander. Rain.
Or you do it like those who will not be named on this podcast, and you get a whole bunch of background actors, and you get a machine that shoots baseball-sized hail at them, and you just pelt them with it. It's great. It looks amazing on camera. And fuck human capital.
Right. They're extras. Nobody cares. But, like, there's so much. And, like, I know Jason is like, oh, you're still going at it. Jason, you don't understand. I mean, you probably do. I think you watched it at some point. But it's bad.
There's so much to unpack. There's, like, 15 different arcs that you gotta cover in this thing.
2 entire films. But I don't have any more major points. I'm sure if we kept talking, they would get discovered, but we're already into an hour and 15 minutes. I'm cutting out that 15 minutes of technical issues. Like, I promise, guys, next movie won't get this much bad rap. Hopefully, if you guys have garbage movies you need reviewed, I guess I'll do it.
We could do Red Planet or Mission to Mars.
Knights of Bad Asta. We could do a good bad movie.
Great bad movie.
Best bad movie. Thank you, everyone, for enjoying that episode. I really hope you liked it. Thank you for tuning in, and please continue to do so. Subscribe and look out for every new episode. One should drop on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I always live stream my episodes Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please tune in and enjoy that as well. And remember, support your independent